Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Overwatch Collective Podcast, Season 9, Episode 17, with Max, all the way from Germany. This is a very cool one. Max, thanks for joining. How you doing, man?
I'm fine, thank you too.
Good.
Um, yeah, I'm happy to be here in the podcast. It's my first podcast ever, so I'm a little nervous, I'm curious, I'm excited, so I'm a bit of everything.
Yeah, no, I like hearing that. I appreciate you coming on. And it's essentially just like doing a Zoom call, me and you just hanging out, having fun, having a conversation. Um, because if I were to fly out to Germany to do an in-person podcast, which would be pretty cool,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I can't get the time off of work and all that. So maybe one day, maybe one day.
But
But so really quick about you. Let's see, you've been a paramedic for 13 years, joined when you were 18 years old, and then you've been a volunteer firefighter since 2012. So definitely been in the first responder community for um, longer than I've been in, actually, which is kind of cool. You got some seniority on me by like 2 or 3 years. So excited to get into the kind of like the vibe, the stigma of mental health out there in Germany versus America, the resources that y'all have. And I know you sent over some pictures that I can post, and it looks like y'all have just as much fun as we do at work. So uh,
yeah, absolutely.
excited to get into it. First, I am going to mention our podcast sponsor, Brain Performance Technologies, a specialty mental health clinic that treats patients with transcranial magnetic stimulation. TMS delivers electrical pulses to specific areas on the scalp to alter brainwave activity and treat various conditions, including depression, TBI, PTSD, anxiety, ADHD, OCD, and addictive disorders. TMS is drug free, non invasive, and improves brainwave function. Improves Improvements include better sleep, better mood, and bigger gains in improved mental health. Brain Performance Technologies offers different TEMS protocol, including RTMS, MERT, and its newest treatment protocol, SAINT. BPT is an authorized TRICARE provider for the United States military service members and can assist with TRICARE authorization. Learn more today at www.1bpt.com. Go check them out. Thanks for sponsoring. And then everybody, you guys already know the drill. Rust and Iron Clothing Company, they sponsor us as well. Percentage of their proceeds from merchandise go to the Overwatch Collective to fund therapy. So go check them out. Max, that's enough of the admin stuff, enough of me talking. I'm out of breath. Can you please give us a little introduction of yourself and take it away?
Yeah, sure. So, as you mentioned, I'm Max, 31 years old, paramedic since 13 years, also volunteer firefighter. In my current department, I'm employed since 2023, since 2.5 years. And yeah, I do many stuffs and many branches in the EMS in Germany. So I'm also, or I was a dispatcher at the 911 center. So I don't know the right English term for that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
so for a couple years, I was in the emergency dispatch center as a dispatcher, EMS, FD, everything like that. Police is a separate section. They have their own call center. So um, I was in the intensive care unit. I transported intensive care patients for 7 years in a specialized ambulance. So I got the whole thing in the EMS. So the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I missed is HAMS TC on the air rescue with the helicopters, but I think I got everything else in the German EMS I could do since so far, yeah.
All right, very cool. And what got you into this profession, doing dispatching, being a paramedic, volunteer firefighter? Did you have family in the fire service or?
No, I am the first person in my family doing this stuff. Yeah, it's yeah a little bit silly. So I got in this EMS stuff because I was quite lazy. I went to gymnasium. It's I think in the US high school
Yeah.
or college. And I don't know which if I have to go to university. So I was lost. So I thought, okay, do something for the people, for the community. So I made a volunteer year in the EMS, and yeah, I like it. So I thought, so no, Max, that's a good thing, giving people some care, giving the community something back. And yeah, so that's the reason I stranded in the EMS in Germany. So I didn't want to go to university, so EMS was my profession, and yeah,
Yeah, trust me, school's not in it for me either. I do not
yeah.
get along with school at all. Um, and in America, I know you've been to San Francisco before. What other places in America have you been and visited?
Yeah, it was many places. So we started last year in San Francisco, Oakland, and traveled southbound to San Diego. After that, we went to Phoenix, Arizona, Williams, Grand Canyon, so the typical tourist stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, from Arizona to Utah, Nevada, and back to California. And this year we also stayed in the United States, and we traveled this time northbound. So from California to oh, geographic, California, Oregon, Washington, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, back to Utah and Nevada. So we saw the whole West Coast and the
Yeah.
Midwest. So and in 1 month, we will come back to San Francisco, Oakland. So we're really, really happy to be again in the United States, seeing some friends again. So we
Mhm.
found some friends on our trips, and yeah, it's amazing to be over there. So
Love that. Absolutely love that. God, I'm literally born and raised in like the San Francisco area, and you've been to more states on the West Coast than I have.
yeah, I think it's typical tourist stuff. So we're living in the Black Forest in Germany. It's a quite beautiful place, but I think we saw more of the United States than of the Black Forest next to us. So
Got it. Yep. All right.
I
So
think,
we're in the same boat.
yeah, I think you always travel to places you can't be so easy, and you forgot your place around you. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. All right. So first in the family to become a first responder,
yeah.
starting off young, 18 years old. And what was that transition for you like? What was like the big eye-opening thing when you became a 911, you were doing 911 dispatching and a paramedic and volunteer firefighter? Because I know it's a shock to go on all these types of traumatic calls for service, seeing the vehicle collisions, the fatalities, the medical calls, like it's not enjoyable stuff. What was that transition kind of like for you?
Well, that's a good question. I think I didn't have any transition because I decided to be a paramedic, and there was plenty of traumatic scenes and calls I saw, but in my opinion of for myself it hangs to this job. So it's a thing you have to go through if you're in this position, or if you're a paramedic or firefighter, doesn't matter. So yeah, it's an interesting question, but I think I don't have a real answer to it. So
Okay.
um, I always had great colleagues and buddies around me. They hold me up. They gave me some strength to all these calls or scenes I saw. Um, there was plenty of very traumatic calls and scenes I went to or I have to went to. Um, but I can't imagine doing anything else than EMS or firefighter. So that's not like a job for me. It's a profession.
Yeah, got it. That makes sense. And it's essentially it's like it's a calling, right? And when
Yeah,
you get like the high from it and you're with your buddies and you never know what the next call for service might be or what your day's going to hold. At least that's what I enjoy about being a first responder. Um, and you circle back a lot to your coworkers and your friends and how they help you out and they're there for you.
yeah,
When we talk about these calls for service out in Germany in the area that you're in regards to like the traumatic ones and the ones that are tough for us to see, how is the stigma behind mental health, or is it kind of like taboo and nobody talks about? Or is that you guys close together having fun? Does that help out with being able to talk as well?
I think that's yeah, it has a big stigma um, in Germany because yeah, it's so which I think I don't want to put all Germans together, but yeah, it's a typical German thing. You have to be strong. So you're working in EMS, you're working as a firefighter, so it's your
Mhm.
job. So don't cry. Be be a be a man. So go through it and everything like that. Um, but in the last few years, many points changes at this point. So
Mm.
we have teams in Germany. It's called PSNV, PSNV. So it's in German psychosoziale Notfallversorgung. It's like a peer team. Um, I think it's spread around. So we have more peer teams than ever in Germany, especially in my state, Baden-Württemberg. The peer team PSNV is operated by the Red Cross and the churches, local churches here in Germany. But there was only for the patients and their family. So we had a big problem for the paramedics and firefighters. So they slipped through a hole in this system,
Mm.
and you have to, or you had to talk about with your family or colleagues or coworkers over the topics you're suffering through. And when I when I was so young, 18, 19, 20 years old, I had nobody around me. I was the only guy in my with my friends who works at the EMS. Everybody else going to the university are going to study and everything like that. They don't know what it means to be a first responder. So I have to talk to my parents, and my parents are both also not in EMS. Um, and yeah, it was quite hard. So they try to be and stand with me, but they don't understand what it means to be in this situation.
Mhm.
So um, the first 4 to 5 years, I had no backup for being, yeah, for looking that my mental health is on the right way to be okay. So in the last I have to think about it. In the last, yeah, 6 to 7 years, we have more peer teams and everything like that. And I used it, or I have to think about, I think it was 2019. I had to use the peer team because I had a call in the dispatch center. Uh, the sister of a colleague and a friend of mine called an emergency call 112 in Germany or Europe, and the sister found her brother dead in the apartment. And her brother was a good friend of mine and a colleague of us. He works at a different department, but we know us, so it was quite hard to hear heard her describing the scene and found her brother, my friend, dead.
Yeah,
And that was one reason I was 2 to 3 weeks off the dispatch center. So
got it.
um, And fortunately, we had a peer team, and the peer team cared well of me, and that was a really important and good part to become mentally sane, not insane, sane. So, well,
Yeah.
mentally insane, maybe, yeah, but no. Um, so we have more and more peer teams. It goes more important in Germany, but I think in the United States is more awareness about this point, and we have to learn, I think, much from the United States in suicidal awareness and mental health. So,
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, trust me, we can learn from everybody, and it's a collective effort to try to normalize it and
yeah,
make sure that our peer teams and our other resources are all doing the best job that they can and taking care of people in our community. So, I appreciate you sharing that you went through the peer support program and you were off for 2 to 3 weeks to be able to kind of just take a break, which I think is amazing, right? A lot of the time we see in America that we're so short staffed and we have so few paramedics, firefighters, police officers, dispatchers that they're not able to take off 2 to 3 weeks, because you have to have people working. Um, and so out there in Germany, how was that process like for you? So after that unfortunate call, which I'm sorry to hear about, um, was it pretty smooth and a simple process to go to the peer support team to reach out and express how you were feeling? And do you mind just talking a little bit about that?
Um, Fortunately, it was very easy and very smooth. So I got this call, and after the call, I put down my headset, go to my supervisor, and told him about the circumstances because it was a colleague of all of us. So everybody knows him. He was a very cool, nice, polite guy, and nobody mentioned that he committed suicide. So yeah, I've gone to my supervisor, told him about the circumstances, and he told me, Max, please, your shift is over, go home, and everything like that. So I went to the smoker's room. We had in the dispatch center a smoker room, lit up my cigarette. Two colleagues came to me and yeah, chatted with me, and yeah, Max, everything is okay, and so the typical stuff. And I went home, and yeah, my chief of EMS called me and asked me, Max, is everything fine? And I told him, no, it's not. And um, yeah, he sent me the peer team at my home. So the peer team comes to me home, and we had a very long chat. And they brought me pizza, and
That's
we have
nice.
eaten pizza together. And yeah, we talked, I think, 2 to 4 hours, eat some pizza, and yeah, so it was the first step to go in the right way. And in the next days and weeks, they called me every day and asked, "Hey Max, is everything right? Is everything okay?" And I think that was very yeah. So I have to look for the words. I'm sorry. It was
No,
very the right way to do it. I think when if the peer team doesn't were was there for me, I think I wouldn't work in the EMS anymore. So um, that was my luck that my department has a great peer team, but that's not very common in the EMS in Germany. So actually, my department now has no peer team. So we have to call over our dispatch center the PSNV, the peer team from our county. And fortunately, I didn't have to use it in the last years, but it's quite hard to get one.
got it.
So we we try to install a peer team for our department for the whole state, um, but I think there will be 1 to 2 years if this or if this is ready for the real use. So I was lucky. I had a good peer team. I know many coworkers. They don't have a good peer team or no peer team, and they leave the EMS. So they do anything else, but they're out of the blue light business. Red light is something else. But the blue light business, um, they went to normal jobs at a bank or at a supermarket or everything like that. But they said no, I'm not able to work anymore in the EMS. It's so shocking. So in often you're set alone at your problems.
Got it. Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that when you needed those resources, they were there for you, not only bringing you some yummy pizza, but having some good conversations. And then honestly, I think that checking in on you every single day and calling after that and saying, Max, how are you doing? What can we do for you? That's the first time I've heard of a peer support team doing that, like going to that level. So, um, I know earlier you said, what can we learn from America peer support? From my experience, we just picked something up from you, Max, that we need to work on and bring back here, um, because the more that we have people on the streets, on the road, going to those calls, the better that our peer support team is, and the more that we reduce the stigma of using the peer support team, the more that I feel like people can actually feel safe to reach out for help and be like, no, chief, everything's not okay. Like I'm struggling. Um, and I also think that dispatchers are kind of forgotten about sometimes, like taking those calls for service and hearing the things on the radio or through that line, and they're like legit the first responder. Um, and they're hearing stuff and crying and domestic violence and babies and suicides and all this stuff. And then when they hang up and the paramedics or police or fire arrive on scene, it's kind of just like, okay, boom, close. They don't have any closure on that, and then it's the next one. So I appreciate you sharing. Do you mind touching a little bit on the dispatcher side of things before we transition to paramedic? Like, what were some of the challenges for you when you were doing dispatching?
Um, so can you say that again? My connection was not
Yeah,
so good.
yeah, no, 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 all
Sorry.
good. So when you were doing your time as a dispatcher, answering the calls for service, what were some of the challenges for you, if any?
Well, the challenges, I think so. The normal daily business is no problem. So you have calling some citizens. Oh, my chest hurts. Oh, I'm ran out of air. I can't breathe. Everything like that. So I think that's the normal daily business. The challenges, I think, is yeah, with a cardiac arrest. So you have a family member on the phone.
Hmm.
The family member is crying, screaming in the phone, "Oh God, my dad, he's passed away. He's dead. He's dead." So bringing the person down and tell them, please, we have to do CPR on the telephone. So bring this element to the callers. So um, you have to say, please, please, please put your father, your mother, your brother, depends on, to the ground, make the body free of the clothes, and starting CPR to describe and told them how to do CPR. So the screaming, the crying. So that's a yeah, very challenging part. Also, when some, doesn't matter if it's family members or not, but finding some corpse or people committed suicide. So that's challenging. Or one car accident. So one car crashed on the German Autobahn in a truck, and two kids were stuck in the car, and the car catches fire.
Mm,
So the car is burning right now. Two kids are trapped in this car, and okay, the fire department, yeah, reaches in 5 to 10 minutes. And if a car is burning and you have two small, I got goosebumps, I'm sorry.
mm-hmm.
Um, and you have some kids trapped in this car, you know, if they're unlucky, they will not come outside. And yeah, it's kicking in. I'm sorry. So that's the challenging part. And if you're feeling helpless, you can't help the people on the phone. And there is something bad happen, somebody is going to die, and you can't help on the phone. That's, I think, it's the most challenging part as a dispatcher. So if somebody tells you, "Oh, I have a headache, or my chest is hurting," so please sit down, don't move anyways. Um, just try to relax. So that's fine. That's daily business. But this moment you realize, okay, they'll need somebody help in seconds, but you can't help. I think that's a challenging point.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've heard that several times from dispatchers before of doing the podcast where it's so difficult being on the other line and trying to give somebody instructions on how to do CPR and knowing that they're like going through the worst day of their life, probably like losing their loved one and having to do CPR, and they're probably like, where's the paramedics at? Where's this? And then you're just like, they're on their way, and it's got to wear on you. And you do it for 10, 20, 30 years. it's definitely a challenge. So for all you dispatchers out there, we appreciate you. We see the struggles that y'all go through, and please reach out to us or peer support if you guys need anything, because you can't just sit there, hang up the phone, go to the next one, and then experience something terrible and then hang up and go to the next one for 20, 30 years and expect you to be invincible, you know?
Yeah, that's quite important, and I think
Mhm.
so. Everybody forgot about the dispatchers because yeah, the dispatch guy is the one on the headset. So, hello, 911, what's your emergency? Oh yeah, thank you. I will send you an ambulance. That's not the job. So you have plenty of expressions.
Yeah.
Um, so, um, and the feeling to be unable to help, I think that's even more cruel to oneself than to be on scene. And on scene, you're able to help, so you could do anything though. But as a dispatcher, you have only your headset. So what
Yeah.
will you do? So
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the good things with our nonprofit is we fund therapy for all first responders, so dispatchers included, you know. Um, and yeah, I think it's good to touch on them. We haven't talked about dispatchers on the podcast recently, unfortunately, but I think it's definitely important to discuss. Um, so I kind of want to transition to being a paramedic and a volunteer firefighter out there in Germany. So, been doing it 12, 13 years since you were 18. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like being on the ambulance and actually responding to the calls, right? Like the dispatcher's the one dispatching you. Now, kind of talk me through out there in Germany what it's like receiving the call for service, going there, handling it accordingly, dropping them off to the hospital, etc., and then some of the fun times too. I kind of want to get into.
yeah, so I think it's a quite different system in Germany because the call comes to we have a pager, so there is it goes make beep 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 and you can read on the display what's going on. So we jump to our ambulance. So our ambulances are stationed at every station. So we have plenty EMS stations in our county. So you jump in the ambulance, rushing to this call with blue lights, sirens, everything like that, typical like in the movies. Um, and I think the biggest difference between the United States and the German EMS is we have emergency physicians out there. So for life-threatening situations, we have a doctor come to the scene in a helicopter or even in a small doctor's car.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's the big difference. Um, but it depends on. We had a change in our paramedic law 2014, 2014, we had a new paramedic. Before it was in Germany the Rettungsassistent. It was a 2 years course, so you have to go 1 year to school and 1 year in practical practice. So after 2 years, you was a Rettungsassistent. So since 2014, we have the Notfallsanitäter. That's a 3 year course, so it's with school, with practices in the hospital and on the ambulance. And now we are able to give by our own medication, doing some airway management and everything like that. But even if we are Notfallsanitäter, we also have our emergency physicians. So I think that's the main difference. And I don't want to open the big case of some discussion because it's quite discussed in Germany. Some paramedics like the system, some paramedics hate the system. Um, but yeah, so you come to the patient, you can do your stuff. We can apply a IV, we can give medication as a paramedic. So we even can do now airway management with intubation, like endotracheal. I don't know in English. In Germany or in German, it's endotracheal. Um, so in in your air pipe. Um, yeah, and we can apply some bone injection gun, everything like that. So now we are allowed to do this without a physician. Um, for assistance, we can or we could call a physician. In some cases, the physician will come automatically to the scene, like a CPR, or a person is unconscious or have some pain in the chest, like a heart attack or something like that. Um, so it's quite different. It's quite interesting. Um, and I think it's quite professional. So we have standardized ambulances. We have at least one paramedic with a 3 years course on the ambulance. Um, some departments have two. Um, so the next step in German EMS below the Notfallsanitäter is the Rettungssanitäter. I think it's the EMT as an equivalent in the United States.
Yep.
Um, it's about a 3 to 4 month course. So
Got it.
um, they have learned how to put an IV in you and do BLS and everything like that.
Mhm.
And we have plenty types of ambulances. So it there is the KTW. It's in Germany called Krankentransportwagen. It's like a BLS ambulance, but in Germany it isn't used for emergency cases. So just as a first responder vehicle for taking care of the patient if the ALS ambulance is too far away. We have the RTW, the Rettungswagen, that's the ALS ambulance. And we have the ITW, that's Intensivtransportwagen, fancy German words.
Okay.
Um, so it's a mobile intensive care unit. So the ITW is primarily for hospital transfers. So if you have one at the on a ventilator or need some in English in Germany it's perfuser, so some pumps for medication in the veins. For really critical patients for hospital transfer it's the ETW, and some specialized vehicle, but they are not very common in the EMS in Germany. So depends on the use, depends on the call. So we have a variety of many vehicles we could use. And I think in the United States, so what I read in the internet, is the system load and go. And in Germany, we stay and play. So we try
Right.
to fix the problem at the scene,
Yeah.
and then we carry the patient to the hospital.
Got
So
it.
we have pretty long time at the scene. Um, so there is no problem to be 1 hour at the patient's home. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had an American patient. It was a tourist from the United States, come from Portland to Germany, and he had issues with his heart. He had a very high heart rate and frequencies about above 200. So we played 1.5 hour at the scene to fix this problem, and after that we carried him to the hospital. So
Wow.
I think in the United States, okay, patient is breathing,
Yeah.
right in the ambulance, rush light and sirens, and move to the hospital.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty much how it is. Unless they need to, and I'm no expert, so all the paramedics out there listening, please don't hate on me. I'm just the cop. But I think they will try to do whatever they can to stabilize them just enough to get them in the ambulance and then en route to the hospital.
yeah,
Unless it's really, really bad and it's like major bleeding, urgent gunshot wounds, major stab wounds where it's essentially just applying pressure to try to stop the bleeding, clot the blood, and yeah, lights and sirens to the hospital. So very interesting to hear that y'all will be on scene for an hour, hour and a half. I know if that were me and I was the patient, I'd be like, okay, like chop chop, let's go to the hospital, you know?
yeah, I think so. That's one reason why you have tell the patient what you are doing and why you are this doing. So communication is the key for this. So we don't do our job and put fancy IVs in the patient, and here's another medicine, and here you get adenosine, and we have some aspirin, and so of course we told tell the patient what we are doing. And I think the normal patient in Germany know the system. So I
Yeah.
think they don't think, oh, yet now it's time for hospital, please rush. So many patients don't want to go to the hospital. We also have these cases. We handle the problem at the scene and leave the patient at home. So the patient could go to the physician next day by themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's now a big deal over here. We have plenty of, yeah, I don't know how to say it, but we have a plenty of bullshit calls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, it's same
and
here. Same here.
yeah,
And yeah, we have a lot of people
and
that will refuse to go, or a lot of people will say the ambulance ride costs too much. They don't want to go to the hospital. They're busy. They think they're fine, and they just have to sign a form, AMA, like against medical assessment or evaluation or something. Like I said, I don't know the exact verbiage, but they have to sign a form saying that they refuse to be transported to the hospital. So similar.
yeah. And in Germany, the ride with the ambulance is for free. So they
That's
don't have to pay anything. So maybe they have to pay 10 euro to the insurance. 10 euros are about $13, I think. So one ambulance ride for $13 is pretty cheap.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
even as a tourist, you're covered by the German health system for a free ambulance ride.
Awesome.
So there are many people now calling 112 or 911 in the United States
Yeah.
um, for getting the ambulance service. So we had calls at night, 3 a.m. So, hi there, good to see you. I just want to ask, could I take my medicine now or should I wait for the next morning? And you have to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. Woosah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got woosah out there?
yeah. In Germany, we also say Wusa.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, you Wusa and told them, no, please take your medication at the next morning. Everything else, no, okay, thank you, good night.
Yep.
And you're running with lights and sirens through the night for some like this bullshit.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
think that's our major problem. So we have in Switzerland, they have an even different system. They have to pay the ambulance ride if this was not necessary. If this was
Oh,
necessary, they don't have to pay.
got it.
So the hospital have to check, okay, it was necessary, check, okay, you don't have to pay.
Wow.
Um, so if the hospital says, nah, that was bullshit, you have to pay 2,000 francs or what
Yeah.
it costs in Switzerland.
Okay.
And so it's a quite different system. So many patients of us will be stay at home because there was no reason for to transport in the hospital.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's the first time I'm hearing of that, so I appreciate you sharing that. That's cool to know. Very cool.
Yeah.
So and really quick, so how did you come to learn about us, the Overwatch Collective in America?
Yeah, pretty easy. Instagram.
Yeah, all the way out in Germany. That's so cool though.
Yeah, I think one of our friends was following you, and I saw your site on her Instagram account, and I thought, okay, what's that? Oh, okay. So I read your description, everything like that, and I thought, well, wow, okay, that's a very important and cool thing. You have to support it. So because it's quite hard to donate from Germany to the United States, there are some issues. So my idea to send you some German stuff, maybe you could save or spend some money for that and sell it, and somebody else can donate some money for this.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think the World Wide Web is worldwide, and there was
Mhm.
no problem to find you.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it, and I love getting connected to people. And this is the nice thing about like the Overwatch Collective and what we've built here, and especially doing podcasts virtually. Like I've done podcasts with Rogers, another awesome gentleman, used to be a police officer, and he's out in Australia. So, and
Okay.
I just had him on. I was on his podcast like a year ago. So it's so cool being able to do podcasts with not only people from other states in America, but Germany, Australia, and like, it's so cool to be able to learn from you as well, to learn about the mental health system, the peer support, and then to also know that there's a lot of similarities in the professions, right? Like being a dispatcher, I've heard a lot of similarities out in America too. So I appreciate it. It's cool. It's very cool.
So it's a very small place, the world. So a few weeks ago, you had Eric in your podcast,
Yep.
and I also know Eric because I'm in I'm in patch trading, and I got a patch trade with him. So I know him before, so it
Very cool.
was quite cool to see him again
Yeah.
in your podcast. So yeah, it's a quite small world, I think,
Mhm.
and I think that's one good thing for your podcast because you could reach the whole world with it.
Mhm.
So everyone have a
Yeah.
chance to listen to this important topics and everything like that, and that's a very good thing
Mhm. Yeah,
because I
no, I
think that's not a problem only in the United States, not only in Germany, also in Japan, China, everything. We have on the whole world problems with mental health
yeah.
and chatting and connecting with each other. I think the exchange is pretty important and pretty cool. And yeah, I like the concept.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I know you sent some stuff out too. I'm still waiting on the patches. Um because I work night shift, so during the
Yeah,
day the ladies there. So I promise you though I will get them out to you. Um and then let's see, shoot, what I was gonna say something else. I was gonna say something else. Yeah, when I get all the stuff out to you, you'll have to take some pictures and I'll send you some extra stuff too so you can hand it out to some of your friends and you can take pictures with them and I'll post them and all that. It's very cool. I love doing stuff like this. So,
perfect. Thank you
uh,
very much.
of course, of course. Let's see. Is there anything else that you want to touch on before I kind of wrap this up and ask you our last question for the podcast?
Oh, that's a good question. I think there is so many things to tell about, but I think we don't have enough time. I mean, if the people like this podcast with me and you and me, we can do a second podcast.
Yeah.
It would
Oh
be a
yeah.
pleasure and it would be amazing. Um, but now I think that's too much. So I think we're going forward to your list and
Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, we can always do another one. And then we can also do an Instagram live as well. So I know you have Instagram. And we follow
yeah,
each other too. So we can also hop on an Instagram live and do it during a time where people are probably on their phones and then they can join and ask you questions in the comments as well, which actually might be a really cool concept. So I think the next time that we do have a chat, we should do an Instagram live and test that out and see how that goes. We're not going anywhere. So we can do an Instagram live, see how that goes, then do another podcast, and maybe we can have another one of your friends and coworkers on as well and have both of you in the room.
yeah, of course. Give me some weeks to increase my English and then we can go in.
No, like I said when we first started recording, I was like, it's really well. Like I didn't know what to expect at all. Um, but no, English is very good. I can definitely tell that you've been out here quite a bit. So,
Thank you very much.
of course, yeah. So the way that we wrap up every single episode, I don't know if you're familiar with our motto, but it is one more is one less. So, like one more person that we can help, offer our resources to, reduce the stigma of mental health, have discussions like what we just had. It could be one less person struggling in silence, one less divorce, one less suicide, um, and everybody's meaning of one more is one less is different. So I would love to hear what one more is one less means to you, Max.
Yeah, what does mean to me? So should I talk to the people outside?
You do whatever feels right. Do whatever.
Okay. So for me means that if you feel lonely or if you feel sick or everything like that, you feel not well, you're feeling alone. I think it means please search for help. Don't be afraid. There's no shame or anything like that. because one step in this direction is one step away from the other direction. So if you're looking for help and search for help and you take the help, it's one step away from being not on this place anymore. So please, 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 if you have any issues, going for searching for help and don't go to the other side. So please make the step to the right decision, make the right decision. And there is no shame to say, oh no, it's not my day, or I'm feeling not good, or anything like that. Just because you're a first responder, it doesn't mean you have to be strong. So your well-being is the most important part to do a good job for the community, and you're the important part in this. So if you're not feeling right, you can't do your job. You are the important part in your whole life, you and your family. And please, please, please search for help, take the help, and don't be to try strong and a hero or something like that. It's not a shame to be weak or showing some weakness, because it's not a weakness to say, oh God, that's too much for me. That's not a weakness, that's a strength, or that's a strength.
Yeah,
So
I like it. I like it a lot. I appreciate you saying that. Um, and yeah, I'll be sending out one of our challenge coins as well, so it'll have one less on the back too, and got some stickers coming our way too. So hopefully I can get the patch soon. I'll put out a little care package for you and ship it out to Germany.
thank you very much.
Of course. Well, this wraps up season 9, episode 17. Max, I appreciate you so much for coming on. Thanks for adjusting your schedule a little bit today, last minute, and making the time. I appreciate you. Please, when this drops in like 2 or 3 weeks, tell your friends, listen, it'll be up on YouTube as well. Spread the word. And then until we talk next time, which I think we'll do an Instagram live, hopefully we could do that next month or in January and have another good conversation.
Of course, it would be a pleasure.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed. And Max, can you say like thank you for listening in German for us, please?
Vielen Dank, dass ihr zugeschaut habt, und ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much.